And now, Funko presents Inside the Artist Studio.
Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Inside the Artist Studio. I am Ben Butcher, I'm the Senior Vice President of Creative here at Funko.
And I'm Sean Wilkinson. I'm the Senior Creative Director at Funko, and we're really excited to get started on our first episode of this and give you the insight into the art behind Funko.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be an awesome show where we really bring you behind the curtain into what we do. Sean mentioned the art of Funko. We're going to show you all the different steps it takes, the whole process, introduce you to the people who do all this stuff from concept to packaging to sculpting to rendering to photography, all of it in between. And we're going to talk about our inspirations. We're going to just show you everything it takes and how much fun we have creating this product that hopefully you guys love and collect.
All right, and so yeah, each week we're gonna bring in some samples of products we've done, talk about them, and kind of the design behind them, the inspiration behind them. And I think today we brought in sort of a few iterations of Freddie Funko. I'm sure you all know who our loyal mascot is, Freddie, and just kind of shows a little bit of the transformation of Freddie. Everything, we're always looking to sort of freshen things up to create the next version of it. So Freddie's had his own little evolution, and this one, for instance, is the very first Freddie. Many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with this guy from our bobblehead days, and he was kind of the first guy that came out that kind of established Freddie as our loyal mascot.
Yeah, so when you guys were designing him, because I remember seeing him before I joined the company and I loved his look. Like, was that something you guys specifically were looking for, that nostalgic feel?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Mike Becker, the original team, very inspired by retro, 50s, 60s era kind of advertising and mascot type of characters. So Freddie was a bit of an amalgamation of some of the favorites that we all had, and we kind of brought it together, and we must have gone through 50 different iterations to kind of hone in that look that was appealing to us at the time. So this is kind of who we came out with, and then he's grown and morphed into other takes and other looks, and I know, Ben, when you joined, that you kind of added a little something to it and kind of developed the sort of next take on Freddie. So talk a little bit about how that happened.
Yeah, so this guy, which I think you guys are familiar with, and we call him Retro Freddie.
Yeah.
This came out of a trip Brian Mariotti and I took to Japan. We were just looking at all the wonderful ways they treat their mascots over there, and we're really inspired. And so on the flight back, Brian and I were talking about this, and so I started doodling some things and would get up and run over to Brian's seat and show him, and we went back and forth. And by the end of the flight, we had something we thought was really kind of a charming take on him, and got our team to kind of jump in on this, sculpt it, and here we are. We have this version.
Yeah, and then obviously the next obvious step was to turn Freddie into a Pop. As you all know, Pop being our huge collectible line, it was just a no-brainer to kind of bring him into that look. He's so amalgamable and moldable that you can really take him into any kind of world. And so obviously, as we did Dorbs, we sort of had a Freddie Dorb. Here's a Hikari one that was a bit of a mashup of the retro and the original bobblehead and the retro looks. And we've got an animated version that I'm sure some of you are familiar with. Really, Freddie is that perfect mascot that can really be everything that Funko is. He's a fun character to work with.
Yeah, the thing you'll notice is we keep that retro nostalgia look. Like if no matter what format we go into, there's something about that original look that really sums up what Funko's about. Yeah, this is a great way to start because this is the central to everything we do.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of the building blocks of kind of how we approach almost everything at Funko, giving it that sort of retro feel. Freddie kind of inhabits that, and has that 10-year-old boy, toy-loving innocence that I think Funko is also built on.
Yeah, none of us really want to grow up, let's be honest. We try to, hold on to this. That's why we all collect toys and try to hold on to that childhood, innocence we have. All right, hey, Sean, I think this is a great time for us to maybe answer some fan questions, right? So let's get into that.
Yeah, I'm excited about this segment, and in fact, we have our first question.
What is the reason behind not having mouths on Pops? This is a really good question, actually, because this is something we go round and round with and figuring out. But what was the origins of that, and how do we kind of approach that now?
I think the original idea with the pop was to keep it a very simple sort of, inspired a little bit by the art vinyl movement that was going on, and just kind of simplifying down a figure and adding that little bit of mystery cute factor with no mouth. And I know some of our first licenses were like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, and so part of that challenge was, how can we cutify these? And there was something about not doing that mouth and just kind of keeping it that cute mystery character that, I don't know, worked a lot.
Yeah. No, and I mean, like, the funny thing is, we still have this debate, right? Like, when characters come in. So what do you say is the one thing that kind of, I know we talk about, like, if we can get away without a mouth and it still works, right? But then what are some of the things that, wow, man, it's missing, we need it?
Yeah, it's that to mouth or not to mouth kind of idea. Right. Obviously, monsters, teethy creatures, animals, often sort of, a dragon without a mouth just feels a little odd.
Right.
So some of them just make sense like that. But even as we dig down into human characters and that kind of thing, it's like, yeah, if you've got a creepy horror character with a big toothy grin, you kind of need that mouth. So there's reasons we'll make that choice, but it's always a debate each time with each character. Is to mouth or not to mouth. So, but I think it's part of the charm and appeal of pop in the first place.
Yeah, I agree. No, and what a great question, because that's honestly something that we go round and round with still, and you'd be amazed at how long we could sit and try different variations of mouths and no mouths and back and forth until we really hit it right. But it's all about making it appealing and charming and feeling like a pop. And
the character itself drives that final decision.
Yep.
So that's
Absolutely.
So that's the approach. All right, we're at the part of our show where we're taking a look at Funko Fan Art. So I think we've got something that's come in, and let's have a look at our first one here.
Let's do that.
All right, yeah, I see some similarities here to one of our hosts.
Yes, yeah, this was my niece Eden. She just recently sent me a birthday card, and she decided to draw me as a pop, as you can tell.
Yeah, a very slender down, svelte pop.
Yes,
good for you.
Of course.
You paid her money for that, I'm sure?
I did pay her money for that, yes.
Excellent.
Exactly.
I'll have to have her do one for me.
Yeah.
She really did well capturing the pop features, etc.
Yeah, big black eyes, a square head. She got all the tie-dye. She got the tattoos on the arm, which is awesome.
Right.
Yeah, this is really cool. And look, this is just, another reminder, all ages. Like, we want art from all ages. We want to see it from kids, adults.
We love to see the inspiration.
Yeah, just seeing how people get excited about what we do.
Yeah,
and
hopefully this is an opportunity for you guys to put pencil to paper and come up with some cool stuff.
All right, well, that wraps our first episode. I mean, this was awesome. What do you think?
Hey,
I mean, it was great.
This was a blast. We're really looking forward to kind of sharing with you Funko and behind the scenes and all the things that go with that, right?
Absolutely. We got fan art. We got questions. It's going to be great. I mean, this is really, really exciting. I mean, there's so much great stuff to come.
Looking forward to sharing more with you guys. So until we see you next time.
All right.
Cheerio.
Yeah. See you guys. Bye. Yeah. No, that was great. Yeah.